And yours. What's good? What's good? What's good? Mr. Big is in the house. What's going on? So, we've actually got a lot going on today. Have you invested in yourself today? Somebody's doing it now. Another person said yes. There's been so much that has gone on over the past week. Just over the past week. Probably the most important thing that happened over the past week, arguably so. Hello, Paula. Thank you for letting me know that you invested in yourself. The speech at Jackson Hole. I was expecting hawkish. We got dovish. We actually got kind of, what's up, Lieutenant? Kind of, hey, we're probably going to get that rate cut in September. Even with us expecting, more economic data to come and all that good stuff, probably going to get that. Cool. Very cool. We'll understand how to react to that. But what other things happened this past week? We had regulatory developments. We had market trends and venture capital. We had technological innovation and AI, security and geopolitical risks, corporate industry moves, implications of and future outlook. There's been a ridiculous amount that's happened over the past week that we could say, is big, right? The idea that rates go up, that's kind of a good thing. I'm still looking at my risk framework. I'm still looking at other things that I have to contend with. Right. So if I'm just looking at regulatory stuff, Project Crypto by the SEC is supposed to be positive for crypto. The alignment of the CFTC with Project Crypto on the SEC side is almost amazing. That doesn't happen, but it's happening now. So we'll see what happens with that. Has it affected everything now? Now, the market did go up on Friday, and then it quickly went down. Why? Profit taking, straight up profit taking. So it is what it is. No, I don't have thoughts on something like that. It's just the way it is. I think to me, it's just more market, more profit taking. Do I expect more to happen this week? On the positive side, I do. This week, I'm looking at last week. I'm expecting this week to be a lot more positive because there's been a kind of relief off of everybody's shoulders. There's less of a question. There's no guarantee, but there's far less of a question that's going on. Right? There's far less of a question of what's going on now and what's going to happen in September. I mean, you're probably at 98.7% probability that you will get a 25 basis point cut. And for those crackheads that are looking for a 50 basis point cut, please stop it. That is not going to happen. 25, I can see. 50 would kind of be insane. But there's an undercurrent that I've also been paying attention. The idea that BLS, or the Bureau of Labor Statistics, could become untrustworthy is bigger than what people think. It's what the world looks at as to what to shoot for reporting. If we don't give out the right numbers, or we give out made up numbers, we give out things like that, that's not going to be good. I don't know what 50 means. Actually, I'm just going to stop responding to phrases and stuff. Whole sentences, please. Whole sentences, whole thoughts. Because remember, if you're responding to something that I say, by the time I get it, I've probably moved on. So I need that whole sentence as a reference. My man, Rick Ritchie, thank you for letting me know you invested in yourself today. So back to BLS. If we don't actually get good numbers, reliable numbers out of BLS, how are companies going to manage their businesses? Let me tell you something. BLS supplies some of the data that the Fed uses to decide on what they're going to do with rates. Now, what happens if you have something like that going on at BLS, and then come May, we get somebody at the Fed that's just a yes man? The world really won't know what's going on. Those are the worst case scenarios. I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but those are worst case scenarios. That's scary. I've been looking and looking why BTCD has dropped so much, but I can't find it. Was it the 25% rate cut? There is no rate cut right now. It's just saying that there could be a rate cut. There's no rate cut that's happening right now. Yes, Hutanic, and the dollar is being used less as as an exchange currency. The fact is that if you look at strength in fiat, the U.S. dollar has been going down, and it seems to be picking up speed as it goes down, and Chinese yuan has been going up. It's not to say that the world is going to use that as an exchange currency, but the world has already seen that you can use crypto. And I'm not talking just at a business level. I'm talking, country to country. You can see that, crypto is being used, period. That's no joke. So when I look at everything that's happening over the past week, I mean, think about the additional sanctions that are being given to India or applied to India. Why? Because India is still buying Russian oil. Told you, India is in a precarious situation. No, I have not seen Find the Money on YouTube. So, no, you're not dumb. I should delete that, but I'm not. But you're not dumb. Cut that crap out. So, looking at how trade happens across the world, with the U.S. becoming almost in a heartbeat unreliable, the devaluing of a dollar, that and the speed at which that's happening, why would any country want to use the dollar as as an exchange currency? We're adding to the fuel of devaluing the dollar on the world stage. That should make people gulp. Something else, do you know that there are growing economies around the world that are far better than that of the United States, or at least gaining ground? Have you looked at Mexico, for an example? Yeah. We're not positioned. The United States is not positioning itself for success at the moment, in my humble opinion. And we need to figure that out. I mean, we shut down a power project that was just about done. The wind turbines off of Rhode Island, they were just about done. Didn't have that much work left to do. And the plug was pulled on it after spending billions of dollars for energy that we actually need. You have people like Eric Schmidt out there, formerly of Google, out there saying, listen, the need for power, the need for energy, any kind of energy, is going to be ridiculous going forward. He was actually on an interview and gave out specific numbers. I can't remember the specific numbers. I think it was something like 27 gigawatts or something like that. And I want you to stop and think about this. We're giving precedence or priority to data centers, clean water, energy. So why is it regular person pays more in energy and that data center doesn't? Why are they given priority? Why is clean water being taken away from the people and given to these machines. Did you know that if everybody ran AI locally, we would use far less power? So it makes you wonder, what else are you doing with the data? Just saying that you need those massive data centers. It's crazy. Bitcoin dominance fell to 58% today, which is a strong signal that altcoin season is about to start. Highly possible. Yeah, the US dollar is going to take a hard hit. The US public is going to take a harder hit. There's not a single person out there in an energy business that truly understands energy that is disagreeing with the idea that energy prices could cost you more than your mortgage. I've seen energy prices, previous to me getting solar, I've seen energy prices at $1,500 a month. $1,500 a month. When I tell you that's a big deal, that's a huge deal. What do you do when people can't afford to live where they live, not because they can't afford the rent or the mortgage, but because they can't afford the energy costs? And then where do you go? Play it out in your head. Just play it out in your head. Energy prices go up. People start moving out of homes. Energy prices go up. People can't even afford to stay in an apartment because energy prices are so high. Remember back in the day, everybody, when you walked in the city and you saw all kinds of satellite dishes hanging out of windows and stuff like that, you're going to see solar panels hanging out of people's windows just to power a tiny ass little battery that will maybe keep a tiny little refrigerator going. Energy prices are going to skyrocket. They've already been going up. There's not a person out there that has not seen, at least the people that I've spoken to all around the world, especially in the United States, haven't seen their energy prices go up. Difference is, around the world, they're going to renewable energy. They're going to see a decline in costs. Other countries have already seen the decline. Why is the United States on an uptick in energy costs? People that can afford it aren't going to feel it. Everybody else will. That's the problem. Imagine what it takes. You're not going to buy a small generator. What does it take to run a small generator? It takes energy to power a generator. You're going to need solar. You're going to need wind. Oh, it's way more than that in New York, buddy. So you're going to find that there's more of a problem. And then on top of the energy costs, food prices have been going up. Week over week, food prices have been going up. Yeah. And then I caught wind of an NPR article that said that there's going to be a $5,000 to $15,000 refundable fee to those that come here for school or business. And when you leave, you get your money back. And it's meant to stop people from overstaying. That one right there, interesting. Very interesting, no? So that's going to hurt a lot of people. It's going to hurt a lot of people. So looking over the past week and looking forward, I think there are positive things that we can see. And over the past week, there were some heavy hitting things that are going to happen, right? Wyoming has their CBDC out, or I'm sorry, their Frontier stable coin out. They call it a Frontier stable token. Huh? Whatever. FRNT. And wow. And you start to realize, holy moly, there are things that are going on. There are things afoot. When you put everything together, you start to realize, okay, so we have some IPOs that are coming up. Companies are announcing IPOs, giving more positivity to the net, to the news. Mining and AI-driven investment still happening. Mining companies capture 20% of capital driven by AI-related compute demand. Now, that's good and bad. I'm looking at these massive mega data centers and I'm just saying, why? Why? When your technology is not as good as what I can run on my local system. You ever hear that term, good enough? You can run a 14B LLM, large language model, on a local system and get out of it what you need. You really can. You can run this stuff locally. And the cool thing is that it will only run when you are using it. What else is going on at that data center besides running all that? I mean, you put them all together and you produce actually more heat than, right? Because it builds. So, okay, you produce heat. So you need water. And you need clean water? Huh. Interesting. Very interesting, no? So you siphon clean water from people that actually need to drink it, cook with it, bathe, and all that good stuff. Because you couldn't possibly find another way to cool your data center. Okay? It's very interesting. But the next one that's going to hit the United States, it's going to be energy. Before that, we're already feeling the bite from tariffs. The line that I've been on as of late, that you must invest in order to survive, it's all right there in front of us. Every time I yap about infrastructure build out and things like that, I literally want to slap myself in the mouth. You want to know why? Because not everybody's in a position to invest in those infrastructure moves. They're just getting started. They're starting off small. But the fact is the facts, or the facts are the facts. So looking at the past week, Bullish's stablecoin IPO, Bullish going IPO, Meta's $72 billion AI bet, Polkadot's kind of revival. They're trying to get some institutional interest by launching the Polkadot Capital Group. Tether strategy, bringing Bo Hines into the fold. Why? Because Bo Hines is attached to the new regime, and that would be the bridge. And he wouldn't be able to accept that money if he was still a part of the new regime. So he left his job a month ago, and now he's with Tether, which means talks started happening a while ago. Now, for the United States to hurt Tether, only operating in the United States, right? Because Tether's going to keep doing what they do all around the world. But if you hurt Tether in the United States, you're ultimately hurting the United States. Tether's involved with a hell of a lot more outside the United States than within. And at some point, you're going to have to move your money, value moves in and out of Tether all over the place. And I hope they're not thinking that, we're going to have so many stable coins here that it'll be fine. A bunch of people that aren't thinking straight is what I see. So there's a lot. Excuse me. There's a lot for us to think about. Robinhood getting into the further gamification of investments, right? So that's going to be a big deal. DEX is used a lot more than just Tether, but Tether is the biggest. And if you force people to use DEXs, well, what does that do in the United States? They're forcing stablecoins to take on U.S. debt. People think that's a good thing. I don't think that's a good thing. I don't. You're going to take on U.S. debt while you're devaluing the dollar? Huh? What did Ricky Ricardo say? Splain, Lucy. So, yeah, I want something to drink. It's a hard cider. It's nothing big. It tastes great when it's cold. And I'm a little spent over celebrating birthdays yesterday, which was fun. Something that happened on a security level. They tried to hack a Norwegian dam. What did Norway do to anybody? Right? Like, what did Norway do to anybody? Oh, that's right. They think it's Russian hackers. Ooh, that would kind of make sense, no? Yeah, it would. They don't pay me, so I'm not saying. What else do we have? Circle's cross-chain solutions. Yeah, they're trying to spread across chains to offer their services. And I'm still staying back and saying to myself, is Cardano still a better option? To me, Cardano is still a better option. Now, if I need to do that with a stable coin, perhaps. But what they're really talking about is Circle Launch Gateway, a non-custodial tool for near-instant cross-chain USDC transfers. This addresses operational insufficiencies or inefficiencies in DeFi and payment systems, enhancing liquidity and reducing costs. Sounds like a lot of blah blah that big business wants to get into DeFi. Who's clamoring for that? Who's clamoring for that service? On a retail scale, who's clamoring for that? It sounds like institutions might be interested in that, right? The average person doesn't care. The average person does not care. So, again, I look at what happened over the past week to see what we can do looking forward. And there's a lot to chew on. Now, what am I expecting this week? I'm expecting a bump this week. I'm expecting the markets to start making adjustments tomorrow to, oh, hey, there's going to be a Fed rate cut. And I see a gentle rise up. I see liquidity back in the market. A huge amount? No, not really. I'm not expecting a huge amount, but I'm expecting a decent amount. Seems like a cash grab. You think? But I think I agree with you, Hutanik. There are going to be certain coins that are going to see some positive upside, but I think there are other coins that you might not be thinking about. XLM, Litecoin. Just saying. Solana's up at 203. Who expected that? Not many. Not many. BNB is up. Doge has been maintaining well throughout this whole thing. Doge has been maintaining well. Hype has been maintaining well. You want to know of a sleeper that's been maintaining well? It's actually been Sui. Sui sucks year to date, right? It's down 10% year to date. But Sui's been holding on. So I'm expecting that Sui is going to do something. Yep, Solana hit a nice number yesterday. A lot of coins did. The question is, did anybody sell? I think until the end of the month, we're going to see, actually, I think until rate cuts happen, we're going to see a lot of volatility happen. A lot of ups and downs. I think Rick Ritchie, I think you're absolutely right. Because Sui's been quiet. Almost devilishly quiet. They've just been doing business. You know what I mean? Like, no big news. We're just doing what we got to do. We're just doing what we got to do. We're being used. We don't have any big stories about this, that, the other. People are just using our platform. Which goes to my point. There's not going to be just one. There's not going to be just one coin to handle it all. There's going to be more than one coin. Rate cut equal big pump. I don't think so. I think the announcement of the rate cut is going to give us a nice pump for a couple of weeks. And then when it happens, it's not going to be that big a deal. It's not going to be that big a deal because it's you're on the wrong platform to ask me that kind of question. I'm going to be frank with you. I'm not going to answer that here for obvious reasons. Mention me on Big Baggers. I'll get a notification and then I'll go answer it. See that? And I already said what I was sipping on. I didn't say the name, but I said what I was sipping on. Link did not save Swift. Give it some thought. You'll know that I'm right. They did not save Swift. Is Swift saved? Because that's saying Swift is saved. Is Swift saved? Yeah, no, it's not. XRP is going to eat their lunch, leave the dishes, have seconds, leave those dishes. And we haven't even started having the conversation about what Link is doing. They require Link. I mean, so Swift gets into bed with Link, who has CCIP. Really? Tell me that's not a mistake. That's a whoopsie. But they needed it. They needed it to last even this long. Now, wouldn't it be interesting, Mr. Big, if Link bought Swift? Imagine if that was a thing, if that could actually happen. Because, wow. I mean, I don't think that could happen, right? I don't think that could happen. What is the market cap of Swift? Yeah, they're going to make me put the periods in. Because it started asking me about Taylor Swift. Tell me that's not funny. What the heck? I can't get a straight answer? There's no single coin or entity known as... Are you kidding me? Holy moly. You've got to be joking. It keeps bringing up Swift. As in Taylor Swift. Nope. And then it refers to Swift Cash. So we would just need to look up, well, how much is Swift? Like, what's their value? Yo, Enrique, what's good? Rick Ricardo, the rate cuts will be, yeah, they're going to be way figured in. They're figured in now. Like, this week is when everybody's going to put their final touches on their numbers, and that's going to be it. So when it finally happens, there will be no surprise. There will be no shock. It will be, we bought on the news, not on the action. Link will be larger than XRP, not even a debate. No, there's a debate. I wouldn't buy into that. I would not buy into that at all. Think about what you're saying. You're going to move value. Market cap? No, I don't think so. I think you're mixing up market cap, Swift's and XRP's market cap, with the amount of value they'll be moving. Big difference. So I don't think so. Possible? Yes. Probable? No. Just facts. Just facts. I'm looking at XRP being big, Ethereum being big, Link being big, Cardano being big. For those, there are those people that think I'm nuts. I do not think that. How do I put it? I do not think that Solana is going to be a reason, be something for me to pay attention to. Why is why is Solana taking off? Meme coins. It's still just primarily meme coins. Oh, and the yap behind some kind of a freaking ETF with staking. But when you think actual usage, what does Solana do for a living? Actual usage. What does Solana do for a living? Compared to XRP, Cardano, anything that's leveraging smart contracts or anything of the like. What does Solana do? Don't say meme coins. Think actual usage. What is it? XRP is doing settlements, moving value. Chainlink is an oracle, also moving value. Translating value. Bobo. You know what? I can't even be mad over the statement. His statement is not Polkadot. Solana is here to stay as the gambling arena in crypto. Here's the problem with that. You're going to have to invest in order to survive. And the gamification of investment is going to prove bloody. Absolutely bloody. Polkadot will be bigger than people think. Rick Ritchie? Sir? Pains me to say this. But yeah. It only pains me because, agreeing with Rick Ritchie is so painful. It's not. Polkadot is going to be big. I think all Polkadot has to do is remind people that they are a blockchain that has a lot of builders. There's nothing wrong with Polkadot. Nothing. Polkadot used to be one of the most busy building platforms out there. Can it stage a comeback? Yeah, and it's already established. But, excuse me, what about Solana? I'm still asking. I'm still waiting for anybody to have anything positive to say. Haven't seen Jack. Quant is better than Link at what? At what? Explain, Lucy. Quant is better than Link at doing what? You can't even really make an argument if you say, oh, well, Quant is an oracle. Quant's not an oracle. Quant's, claim to fame is ISO 222. That's their claim to fame. 20022. Which is proven to mean diddly. It hasn't meant anything in the world of crypto as of late. Nothing. Not a thing. Sui will replace Solana. Replace Solana in what way? Be more specific. Replace Solana in what way? I don't think it's going to replace Solana. I don't think Solana does anything that needs to be replaced. What happens on Sui? Business happens on Sui. The movement of value happens on Sui. On a lot of these chains, the movement of value happens. That's what happens. What does Solana do? The transaction of bots. To looking at last week and looking at next week. I think SUI rides in it. It just rides in its place, waiting. Solana's going to stumble, and I don't think it's necessarily that these coins are going to move up. I think it's that Solana's going to stumble while these coins are moving up. While these coins, while these, these blockchains, these projects are continuing to handle business. Use case and reliability are what's going to hurt Solana. Use case and reliability. I still don't see how they're reliable. Here's something else that's going to hurt Solana. Have you seen if they're, I don't know, decentralized? Have they proven to anybody that they are decentralized? That's a major problem for them. That's going to be the major problem for them. Like big. Big. Can I just laugh at you? Okay, I'll just laugh at you. Just saying. Again, because of hawkishness, because of dovishness, that's going to be factored in this week, next week. Remember, this is a big vacation time in the United States. So this week, next week. And then we're in September. Ta-da! Speculation on what? Speculation of what? Solana still has yet to release their phone. But it was supposed to be released a while ago, no? It's not going to have the hype of the first phone. I don't, at least in my humble opinion. You're on your phone. Speculation. No, but what do you mean by speculation? That's what I'm talking about. Speculating about what? SUI has been kind of rock solid when you think about it. No hype, no hoopla, just every day, just doing business. Every day, just doing business, just handling transactions. The only factor that I can't put a date on, the only one I can't put a date on, put my finger on, is when do retail stores start accepting crypto? And when they start accepting crypto, is it only going to be stable coins? One would think that it would be stable coins, but there's an argument to be made that it'll also be regular coins. Why is that? Because stable coins are tied to whatever fiat that they're tied to. And that's not necessarily where you want to be with that fiat if it's the US dollar just decreasing in value every day. First button is catalyst. First bull run is catalyst with speculation for new tokens in the past. Again, what is your definition of speculation? What do you mean by speculation? Give me an example. I don't know what you mean by speculation. That's too broad of a topic. It's too nebulous of a statement. What do you mean? Be more specific. You're speculating on what? Speculating on its growth? Speculating on what? It getting an ETF? I don't understand. In case we haven't noticed, ETFs have also not moved markets. Just saying. Something else to contemplate. And then, so if prices are going up in some cases by double digits. You have to invest so that you can make that percentage up, right? Maintaining your household budget is going to be harder than what it once was. Just saying. For homeowners, that investment could wind up being solar panels. And you're not really making money from that. You're kind of locking in the price of your electricity bill, depending on if you buy or lease. That's the deal. That's the deal right there. So I think that over the next little while, you're going to see SUI start to bubble up, just because people will realize that's what they do, right? They just handle business. They're handling transactions. That's the big deal. Others, like I said, what does Solana do? What real transactions happen on Solana? Who's really doing business with Solana? SUI does business with Solana. I mean, SUI does business. SUI to me is reliable. Solana to me is meme coins and bots. Short-lived bear market for sure. When does it happen? Week after next. First week of September. How long does it last? To me, maybe until November. I suspect that sometime between then and now, I'll be shaving. I'll be shaving. What else are you gonna do? Right? I mean, I need to put myself in a position where I can lock in my earnings and play the volatility. And something else that I noticed that I'm going to have to pay attention to is what coin is popping versus other coins that are not. Like, my portfolio is up, but it's not up all over the place. It's up in specific places. So the question is, what's the next dip? What's the next dip? When? And how long will it last? Those are questions I have. Anyone looking to take profits past November is brave. Okay, so what does that mean to you? You're holding unless you see stupid prices. What does that even mean? That makes no sense. Neither one of those statements make sense. They're not clear. Am I thinking about a dip or am I thinking correction? I think I mean correction, not dip. I mean, Ethereum is popping while Bitcoin is taking a dip. So Babo, when I'm looking at that, I'm like, yeah, no. It's specific coins. That's what I'm saying. I look at my portfolio and I'm like, wow, these coins have buoyed my freaking portfolio, while other coins are snoozing, hurting my freaking feelings. Yeah, those numbers are stupid. Well, depending on what time frame you put on it. Depending on the time frame you put on it. I'm looking to pull out as close to the top as possible and then just wait. Then just wait. Cry when the market goes up some more and then drops, but I believe that there will be another drop. And it'll be a big drop. Will it be like a crazy drop? No, it's not going to be a crazy drop. It's not going to be like a $50,000 drop or something like that. But there'll be a drop. But like I said, I mean, people are freaking out that, excuse me, that Ethereum is at 4801, and I'm like, it just set a new all-time high. I mean, it was at 4953.73. That far away from 5,000. That's interesting. What else happened last week that I think I can drive next week? That Norwegian thing, that to me seems political. That seems political. And I wonder about it because that's probing. There are countries out there that are just probing other countries to see where they're weak. Are you weak or are you solid here? Are you weak or are you solid here? Are you weak? Ooh, squishy. That's what's going on. So I am paying attention to that. Something else I'm paying attention to that I think could have ramifications this week. Tether. I think it's possible that Tether can be in the news this week. That Bo Hines move wasn't a joke. I'm waiting to see what really comes of that. I think that's going to wind up being big. I want to see if we get any news about Wyoming's stablecoin, FRNT. What does it do? I want to know that. Right? SEC investigations into Alt 5 Sigma and its CEO, John Isaac, over a $1.5 billion Trump-linked crypto deal. Alleging fraud. I wonder how far that investigation is going to go. Just wondering. What's the timeline, Hutanik? Again, can't be throwing out numbers without timeline, or else those numbers don't mean anything. That could be 10 years out. I don't know. Okay, we're happy for you. What's the timeline of the numbers you just gave for Bitcoin hitting 175 and Cardano hitting $5? That's what people want to know. I feel like I'm missing stuff. I don't think that coin is going to skyrocket again. I think they want people to forget about it because they're going to continue to use it to maneuver money that they don't want people paying attention to. Okay, that again, Hutanik, if you're not giving a date, you're not giving a timeline, that's not a timeline. Nothing to pay attention to there. Mining and AI, those are going to be huge. But I think they're going to be huge from a want more power perspective. I'm telling you, invest in power. Invest in energy. Go see if you can find that interview with Eric Schmidt. See what he's saying about energy and the energy needs of the United States. That's what we're going to have to pay attention to. Those are really big things. Those are really, really, really big things. Right? So that's what I'm thinking about. Right? But go over the past week. CalSTRS bet $133 million on Bitcoin via strategy. They bought strategy. I'm looking for investments to start ramping up, but from an institutional perspective. I think that's where it's going to be big. Solana's back in the green in terms of year-to-date earnings at 7.98%. Listen, that's not bad. Doge is still 26 under. Cardano is 8.26 above. Chainlink is almost 30% over. Hyperliquid is at 89% over, almost 90%. SUI is still under at 10.53. So there's a lot. I think there are still opportunities this week, but I think it's going to be harder to pick and choose your opportunities to invest in. Like I'm investing, I've now established in my head that I do have two separate DCA strategies. One is for my normal pocket of bags that I think are part of the connective tissue, and the other one is for the rest of my bags. I'm always going to give this amount over here, and I'm always going to give this amount over there, and we're going to invest over time. Now, the thing that might change is the percentage of that money that, might happen. We really don't need reports on what's going up, what's going down. We have all kinds of charts out there that'll show us. Monero, I think you're going to see Monero over time. I think you're going to see projects like Monero grow. It's natural. I think that's going to grow. And the reason why is because I think there are a lot of people are going to be saying, I'm tired of the government looking over my money. I already paid taxes on my money. They don't need to know anything else about my money. All done. I mean, unless I buy stocks, that kind of stuff. But other than that, you don't need to know if I buy a bag of chips. All done with that. That's going to be a big deal. I think we're going to start to hear more RWA work this week. That's something that I'm constantly looking at. And the next projects that I'm giving to myself is what crypto projects are happening in Africa. Again, what crypto projects are happening in Africa? That's my next research work. Why? Africa is slated to have the most amount of people in the world. Buying stuff. And I missed it. I know somebody had a question, but I'm going to go back to what Rick Ritchie said. If you want me to see a question, you should probably drop some money in the till for me to see that question, if you actually want an answer. What else is there? Why would you even like Solana? That is saying I drive a Benz and a Yugo. No, I can see why a person would like Solana. Like, for real. You probably all just laugh at me right now, but because there's stuff that you can do with the volatility to make money. Not everything is about you investing in the project. A lot of this stuff is you just looking to make money off the volatility. That's it. Yep, I see what you're talking about, Babo. Totally get it. Oh, that's a horrible swing. Holy moly. Just saw this lady tee off, and that was horrible. She's having a bad day. It's one of my friend's wives. In my opinion, it will reach $500 to $1,000 in the next decade for sure. Who? Solana? Solana. Is that what you're expecting from Solana? I suspect the exact opposite. I suspect that Solana will experience a bloodbath because something goes wrong with their network again. Do me a favor. Put that in big baggers because I have a couple of things to do after the show that I'm not going to remember. Rick Ritchie, that was for you. Maybe I'll get to it today or sometime this week. But I have a couple of things I got to take care of upstairs before I dive into anything else. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do me a favor, smash the likes because clearly us making 20,000 subscribers in 2 weeks and 8 days is because of this community. So please, please, please smash the likes. Tell your friends about this community. And remember the GMB3. Do your own research. Know your entries and exits. And absolutely invest deliberately. Everybody enjoy the rest of your day. And I hope you have a good one. See you tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Crypto Daily.